Sometimes great games come in a very small package, and Llama is a great example for that. Llama is a very charming family-style card game from 2 to 6 players, ages 8 and up, and was designed by Rainer Nietzsche. The goal of the game is to be the player with the least minus points at the end of the game, and the game ends if at least one player has 40 or more minus points. The points are being tracked by these chips. We have white chips that are worth 1 minus points, and we have black chips that are worth minus 10 points. And at any time during the game, players can exchange their chips for the next value, so you can trade in 10 whites for a black or black for 10 whites as you choose. Now the game itself is put together out of this deck of cards, and these cards either have numbers on them from 1 to 6, like so, or they have a llama card that looks like this. At the very beginning of the game, each player will receive 6 cards as their starting hand. In addition to that, we also will flip over the top card of our center deck, and that'll be the starting card. Beginning with the start player, that player now has 3 options. They can either play a card from their hand onto the table, or they can pass and draw a new card, or they can fold and choose to be out of this round. Let's talk about all these options. As I mentioned, the first thing a player can do is play a card out of their hand into the table. Now we have a start card here, and whatever card is currently on top is the one that you're basically adding to. When you play a card from your hand, you can either play a card that has the same number than the card that is currently on the table, or 1 number up. So, seeing that we have a 4 here, the next player may either choose to play a 4, or, you guessed it, a 5. Now, game now continues to the next player in clockwise order, and eventually we're going to work our way up all the way to the 6. The only card that can be followed, can follow a 6 would be a llama. So a llama is kind of like a 7, just a bit of a fancier term for it. And the only card that can follow a llama is a 1. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, llama, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, llama, and so on. Now, game now continues that way. If I have a card in my hand as a second option, if I don't like the cards that I have, or I don't want to play a certain card, I can choose not to play and instead draw a new card into my hand. And as a third option, I may choose to fold and be out of this round. Why you would do that? Maybe you have a hand that doesn't have too many bad cards left for minus points, and you might just choose to be done with it rather than risking adding more cards to your hand and be stuck with even more minus points. But either way, play, draw, or fold. Game now continues until either all the players have folded, or one player was able to empty their hand completely, in other words, play their last card, and that round then ends immediately as well. After that, players will receive minus points for whatever cards they're left with in their hand. The interesting thing here is that if you have multiple cards of the same value, they only become 1 time that minus value. So let's say I have 2 4s here left in my hand at the end of the round. I would not get 8 points minus, I would only get 4 because they're all the same. Even if I have 4 4s, I would still only get 4 minus points. A llama, by the way, is worth minus 10 points. So it's a bit of a hot potato, so make sure you don't hold on too long on those cards. On the other hand, if I have several llama cards, then they still only count 1 time minus 10 points. The round then ends, we shuffle all the cards, everybody gets 6 new cards, and we start a new round. Game then continues until at least one player has minus 40 cards. One thing also to mention is if you were the player that was able to end the round by getting rid of all of your cards, as a bonus, you're allowed to return one of your chips back to the bank. And hopefully it's a black chips, because then you would lose minus 10 points, which is a good thing. Llama is such a great game. It's very addictive, it plays very quickly, it's not super intense, it's very relaxing and very chill, and I strongly recommend it. So hopefully you have a chance to check it out here across the board.